So for our vocabulary, we're gonna read this bookmark to the left of page 66 together. And then that's where we'll find our vocabulary for today's lesson. So you should be on a new you should be adding these words to the Adapting to Survive word list. And you should be on page 66 in your textbook. So make sure you're in the reading section. And underneath crevices, you have drawn a squiggly line, today's date, and then started with number 13. And you should be on page 66 in your textbook. Ethan, page 66 in your textbook. Okay, let's look at the bookmark to the left. Today we're going to talk about poetry. And then you guys get a chance to write your own poem. The end, find crevices. Crevices, and then underneath crevices, it should be the very last word. Should be the very last word. Okay, so Kingston, go ahead and start reading that bookmark on the top of page 66. Oh yes, go ahead and put your face shields on. Victoria, are you listening? I don't know what you're doing right now. If that's your chapstick, please go put it on my desk. You can have it at the end of the day. Okay, Kingston, go ahead and read on the top of page 66, the bookmark.
Poetry.
Cinquain. Everybody, let's say that word. I'm going to say it, you repeat. Cinquain.
Cinquain.
Again, Cinquain.
Cinquain.
One more time, Cinquain.
Cinquain.
Now all together.
Cinquain.
Okay, keep going. So Kingston, start with A, Cinquain.
A cinquain has 5 lines of 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2 syllables. The first line may also be the title.
Good. So number 13 is the word Cinquain. Make sure you are spelling this correctly. Because if you keep misspelling in your notebook, even though it's right here, and it's right there in your book, and then you give me cards with words with the vocabulary word or words in the definition misspelled, you're going to lose that privilege. So Cinquain is Cinquain. And we're not going to give a part of speech to this because it's more just, it's a poem. It's a poem with 5 lines of 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2 syllables. So that means the first line, there's 5 lines. The first line has 2 syllables. The second line has 4 syllables. The third line has 6 syllables. The fourth line has 8 syllables. And the last line, the 5th line, has 2 syllables again. So if you had 5 lines in your poem, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which we'll read some examples. Your first line would have 2 syllables. It may also be the title. Your second line has 4. Third line has 6. Fourth line has 8. Last line has 2 again. Sometimes, in some cinquains, the last line is the same as the first line. Sometimes. Okay, so we're going to be reading and writing cinquains today. We're going to be reading many examples of a poem with 5 lines of 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2 syllables. but we're also going to be writing our own. Remember, a syllable is how many parts of the word there are. So that means if I am trying to figure out how many syllables a word has, I'm counting how many times does my chin go down. So if I say the word, I'm going to put my chin right here. I'm going to put my hand right here. I'm going to make sure I'm not moving my chin. I'm going to make sure I'm not moving my hand. And then I'm going to say the word cat. How many times did my chin touch my hand in that sentence? In that word. Michaela? Once. So that means cat has one syllable. Make sure you're not moving your hand. You're just keeping your hand in one place. So what I would do is put your elbow on your desk so that it can't really move. And then put your head on top. Your chin on top of your hand. And then count how many times when you say a word. So if I said elephant, elephant, elephant. Three times. Also, some of you may have done this. I saw Michaela do this. When you were younger, you may have said elephant or cat. Just make sure that you're not purposely making the word longer or shorter than it is. Like, don't say elephant or elephant. You have to say elephant, cat, hydrangea, this type of flower, fire truck, otter,
Police officer.
American flag. And then you count how many times you clap or how many times your chin hits your hand. So you're going to need to do that today and tomorrow because you'll just have to turn in a completed cinquain by Monday morning. Okay, Kingston, go ahead and keep reading. So we have learned a poem with 5 lines of 2, 4, 6, 8, and 2 syllables is called a cinquain. Keep reading on that bookmark. Loud. Pull your mask below your chin because you have your face shield on. All the way below your chin. There you go. Loud. Try it. Chunk it if you're not sure. When I say chunk, I mean figure out the syllables and read one syllable at a time. Literary. Ooh, how many syllables does literary have? Literary. You can show me in front of your face. Well, don't cover it for me. Yep. 4. Good. Okay, Kingston?
Literary elements.
Loud. Try it and read loud because we can't hear you. Okay, Ethan, follow along. Assonance.
Assonance is created by repeating similar vowel sounds in 2 or more words.
Good. So our next word, number 14, is the word assonance. We see this a lot in poetry because it is repeating similar vowel sounds in 2 or more words. So assonance is a literary element, so it's something that authors, especially authors who write poetry, will use, poets, in order to make their poems sound more pleasing. So they'll repeat similar vowel sounds in 2 or more words. Now it says similar, not the same, so it might mean they're not exactly the same vowel sound, but they're close. Okay, Kingston, read us that last little bit on the bookmark.
A metaphor is a figure of speech in which 2 very different objects
Very good. So our last word for today is the word metaphor. Metaphor is an example of figurative language. We're going to talk a lot about figurative language this year. But a metaphor is figurative language or a figure of speech in which two very different things are said to be alike. So a metaphor compares two very, very different things as if they are alike. And we're going to see examples of both assonance and metaphors in the Cinquains that we read today. So go ahead and finish that, and then you can put your vocabulary notebook to the side. Michaela, you'll have 3 words to do tonight. So make sure you have everything spelled exactly as it is up here and that you have every single word that is up here. It will be up here for a while. I'm not going to erase it. So just do it now and then later you can check it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and look at page 66 and we're going to read 3 different examples of a cinquain. Colin, go ahead and read the first cinquain. Do not forget titles. Read loud and slow.
Read the title.
No, yeah, read the title and the author, and then don't forget to read, the title of the individual cinquain too.
Cinquains by Polly Pearson. Fat frog, murky as mud, hides all but his high eyes. Flash, blink.
Not blink. What does it say? Cover up the F, and what word is that?
Lick.
So put an F sound at the beginning.
Flick.
There you go. Flash, flick.
Flies cannot flee from that fast tongue.
Very good. Do you see how all of those letters, all of those words, almost all those words start with F? That's another form of, in that last sentence, that's another type of literary element called alliteration, where you use the same letter multiple times. We can also see, look at the third line that says, hides all but his high eyes. That little bubble says you can hear assonance in the words high eyes, which both have the long I sound. But remember, it's a similar vowel sound because it's the same vowel making both of those sounds. Zari?
No.
No, because the I in high makes the long I sound, but the EYE in eyes is what makes the long I sound. Make sure you're paying attention because you are going to choose one of these 2 types of literary elements, either assonance or metaphor, in your own cinquain. So good. High eyes is an example of assonance. 2 words in a row that have a similar vowel sound. So both of those words have both of those words have the long I sound. High and eyes. Very good, Cullen. Okay, read the next cinquain. Don't forget about the title. Aaron. Read loud and slow.
White swans, awkward on land, glide through water and ease.
Not and. What does it say? Glide through water. Loud. Read that line again.
through water with ease. Wide-webbed feet grant them the grace of dancers.
Very good. So if we look at those last two lines, wide-webbed feet grant them the grace of dancers. Let's read that little bubble. It says, the poets create a metaphor by comparing swans to dancers. Are swans really anything like dancers just by looking at them? Zadie?
No.
No. Swans are an animal, a type of bird. A dancer is a human who dances. They are nothing alike. But the author used a metaphor to compare the way that swans move to the way that dancers move. So do you see? A metaphor compares two very different things and says that they are similar. Swans and dancers are completely different, but the author is using the two of them to describe how they move. Okay, read the last Cinquain. Zadie. Loud and slow.
Grass snake. Grass snake, graceful and quick. Slithers, slips, slides away. Disappears quietly as a daydream.
Very good. In that poem, we can see alliteration again with the slithers, slips, slides away. We can also see a little bit of assonance in slithers and slips. What's the vowel sound that you hear in slithers and slips? What vowel sound do you hear in slithers and slips? Victoria?
E sound.
Not E. Remember, E is, and you have to tell me, is it long or short? Long E is E, E, E. Short E is eh, eh, eh. I didn't hear either of those in slithers and slips. So what vowel sound do you hear in slithers and slips? See, someone who hasn't answered recently. Michaela? S is not a vowel. Guys, come on. Carla?
I.
Which one, short or long? Zari, hand down. Short I or long I? What is it?
Short I.
Short I, very good, because short I says Long I says I. Now I want everybody to listen to my voice, because I need you to hear the difference between short I and long I. I'm sorry, short I and short E. Short I is like in six. Ix. Short E is like in egg. Egg. So do you hear the difference? If we said egg with a short I, we would be saying ig. Is that the word? No. So make sure that you understand that short E says and short I says I. Your teeth move. When you say short I, your teeth kind of come back in your mouth. Your bottom teeth go out. When you say short I. Make a short I sound. Your bottom teeth go out. In your bottom teeth go in. There you go. Short I, your bottom teeth go out. Short E, your bottom teeth go in. Okay. So, yes, so these are some examples of cinquains. These are all about animals. Well, today, you're going to pick an animal and you get to write your own cinquain. So, go to page 68. It says write a cinquain. You can go back and forth between these two pages to figure it out. And we have Joshua M's cinquain. Can you read Joshua M's cinquain? Zari, read it loud. Don't forget the title.
Write a Cinquain. Striped Horse by Joshua M. Zebra. A horse with stripes, grazing on grassy plains. Stallions watch over foals. They sleep.
Very good. Let's all look at that first line together. And we're going to clap out the syllables. All together, we're going to clap out the syllables. So we can see the point of a cinquain is that it's 5 lines and it has the certain amount of syllables each time. If you write a cinquain, even if it has 5 lines, if the syllables aren't right, you didn't write a cinquain. So you have to make sure that it's 5 lines and the syllables are right. So that first line, zebra, let's clap out the syllables. Zebra. How many syllables did it have, class?
2.
2. Now let's clap out the second one. I'm going to read it first, then we're going to clap it out together. A horse with stripes. A horse with stripes. How many syllables did that one have, class? 4. How many claps? Remember, we're counting the claps. Now the third line. I'm going to read it once, then we're going to clap it out. Please only clap with me. Grazing on grassy plains. Clap it out with me. Grazing on grassy plains. How many claps, class?
6.
Make sure you're counting the claps. Don't wait on other people to answer the question. Yes, sorry, quickly.
Oh no, I was answering.
Okay, well, I said class, so that means everybody gets to answer. Okay, now let's look at the fourth line. I'm going to read it once, then we're going to clap it out. Steady stallions watch over foals. Let's count them. Steady stallions watch over foals. How many syllables, class?
8.
8. Last line. I'm going to read it, then we're going to clap it out. They sleep. They sleep. 2. So what I'm doing as I clap is I put another finger up every time. So watch what I do. Don't clap with me, just watch. Zebra. A, just watch, just watch. A horse with stripes. Watch, just watch, just watch, just watch. Grazing on grassy plains. Steady stallions watch over foals. They sleep. Okay? Because now it's your turn. Read the your turn box with me, or paragraph with me while I read it out loud. Write a cinquain to describe an animal. Think about how the animal survives. Choose colorful, precise words that paint a picture. Use the writer's checklist to check your writing, or to check your writing. When it says precise, remember that means right, accurate, correct. Clear. That's what precise means. Let's look at the writer's checklist. The first one, ideas and content. Do my details tell how I feel and what I want to say? Next is organization. Does the organization of ideas in my poem make sense? So did you put the words in the right order, in the right place? Then voice. Can the reader tell that I care about the message in my poem, or am I just writing random words that I don't care about at all just because I don't feel like doing this and I want to get it done? Is that a very good poem? Are people going to want to read your poem? Because I'm going to hang them in the hall. And even though not as many people as usual walk by, people still do walk by. So you want to make sure that it looks like you care about this poem. You should care because it's school and it's fun. Next box, word choice. Did I choose precise words to paint a picture of the animal? Did you use clear, interesting words? Not words like, I don't know, I can't think of, not boring words, but good, interesting words. Then sentence fluency. Does my poem sound pleasing? Does it sound good? Are people going to want to read it? Is it interesting? Do you think it's interesting? All that matters is that you think it's interesting. If you find it interesting, other people will find it interesting too. Last one, conventions. Have I used the right punctuation? Now this is a poem, so you don't really have to worry about punctuation in this one, but you do have to worry about capital letters. Because if we go back, we can see the first line of the first letter of every line starts with a what? The first letter of every line is what? Victoria? Capital. The first letter of each line is capital. So what I'm going to do now is you are going to have the next 30 minutes to start your Cinquain. You probably won't finish today, and that's okay. Hold on. You'll have the next 30 minutes to start your Cinquain, but those of you at home should already have this. I'm going to pass out something to help you. The sheet I pass out right now will be where you do your rough draft. Once I check your rough draft, hold on, I'll answer your question a little bit. Once I check your rough draft, that means at home you have to scan me your rough draft first. Once I check it and say you're good, you're ready, you have the right amount of syllables, it's clear, it works, it sounds good, then I will give you a sheet of paper to do your final draft on. Once you have your paper to do your final draft, Colin, sit up. You get to color it, you get to decorate it. You're going to do it with pencil first and then go over with flair and then use your colored pencils to decorate it. You probably won't finish today. I don't expect you to finish today. If you do finish today, I'm going to think maybe you didn't put as much thought into it as you could have. And that's okay. But you do have 30 minutes to go ahead and start. So while I'm passing out this sheet, be thinking of what animal you want to write your Cinquain about. It cannot be a frog, a swan, a snake, or a zebra. Why can it not be a frog, a swan, a snake, or a zebra? Aaron?
Because those are the ones that were chosen in the book.
Those are the ones that are in the book. So that would be not thinking enough, just taking somebody else's idea. Okay, so I'm going to pass out that sheet to those of you at school. I will show you at home what that looks like in just a minute. So those of you at home, it looks like this. This is what it looks like. It has this on the other side, but we're looking at this side right now. Yep, that's it, Smith. Everybody else have it? This will help you. This is called a graphic organizer. A graphic organizer is like a piece of paper, a chart, something, whatever, that helps you get your thoughts organized. It is a visual thing, that's where the word graphic comes from, that helps you get your thoughts organized. That's where the word organizer comes from. So this is going to help you write your poem. Yes, Carla, quickly.
I don't have one.
Okay, I emailed it. So check your stuff again really quick, okay? Because I emailed this last night. It has this. This is one part of it, but this is the side we're looking at, where it says Cinquain Graphic Organizer at the top.
Okay.
Go sit down.
There's one.
Okay, so if we look at it, let's start at the top. It says Cinquain Graphic Organizer. Underneath it says a cinquain is a 5-line poem that describes a person, place, or thing. You are going to be using a thing, an animal, for your title. This poem chose dessert. Their first line was a one-word title, a noun, and it has 2 syllables. Dessert. Their second, these poems on this page don't quite follow the syllables, but you're going to follow the syllables, okay? The second line is cold, creamy. That's 2 adjectives. We could turn that into, it's 3 syllables right now, but we could turn it into 4 by saying cold and creamy. Then the next one, eating, giggling, licking. That's 3 ing participles. Participle, it's just a verb. 3 verbs with ing. Eating, giggling, licking. But remember, these poems don't necessarily follow the syllables, so they're not great examples, but they are examples.
Fellas, is this it?
Yes, that's it. Then we see cone with 3 scoops, and that's a phrase. Your phrase is going to have 8 syllables. Your phrase will have 8 syllables. Then the last line, is a synonym for the title. So another word that means the same thing as the title. Since you are doing an animal, you may not be able to think of something with 2 syllables for the last line. If you can't think of something, you may just repeat the first line. However, that means your title has to be something different. But your title can be any number of syllables. Okay? So the first line has 2 syllables. Let's look at the numbers 1 through 5. Your first line is a one-word title, and it has 2 syllables. So that means you need to pick an animal with 2 syllables, or if your animal has 1 syllable, you have to add another syllable before, like maybe some kind of 1-syllable describing word. Then number 2 says 2 adjectives that describe what you're writing about. Overall, it has to have 4 syllables. Adjectives are describing words. Listen. Adjectives are describing words. So line 2 is 2 words that describe your animal. Make sure it only has 4 syllables. Line 3 is 3 verbs with ing. So that means 3 actions that end with ing, and it's going to have 6 syllables. So 3 things that your animal does that end with ing that has 6 syllables. So like leaping, swimming, dancing, whatever. Does everybody understand what verbs, actions ending in ing means? Things that your animal does that end with ing, but make sure you only have 6 syllables. Then line 4 is basically a sentence about your animal, but you have 8 syllables. And it doesn't have to be a sentence with a subject and a predicate, because that's what a phrase is. A phrase isn't necessarily a complete sentence. But it'll be about your animal. What does your animal do? Why do you like it? Whatever. Just make sure it has 8 syllables. And then line 5, the last one, is a synonym for your title, or you can repeat the title as long as it has 2 syllables. If you repeat the first line, your title has to be different. So you have to name your poem something different if line 5 is the same as your first line. Okay, any questions before I let you go and then I help you individually if you need to? Kingston.
Do you need syllables in the word? Like Oh.
Those claps, how many claps? But make sure that you're not clapping too much or too little. I need to check. Okay, Carla, I'll help you in a minute. I need to check. Before you move from here to your final draft, I'm going to check it. So girls at home, I'm actually going to bring you to my desk. So if you think you're finished, then you can show it to me on the camera, and hopefully I'll be able to read it. And then I'll let you know, because I'm going to be reading it. I'm going to be making sure it has the right amount of syllables. I'm going to be making sure it makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm going to have you try again. Okay, is everybody ready? Any questions about Cinquains? Carla, what's your question?
It wasn't a question, but I was trying to tell you that my mama now put it out.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, Zadie.
Can we use the dictionary?
Yes, you may use the dictionary. You can use your speller's dictionary, or if you need a big dictionary, let me know. You'll use one of the skinny dictionaries. When you pull it out, you'll only touch it, and then you'll need to put it in the bin in the basket afterwards, okay? But we're only using those skinny dictionaries, the ones that are stacked on top sideways. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? It says My First Dictionary on the side, I think. So it doesn't have as many words, but we have a lot of them, and they're easy to get out without touching others and put away when it's time for me to put them away.
It says First Dictionary.
Yes, it says First Dictionary or something. Okay, yes, sorry, quickly.
On the first one, so on the first one, it says you have to write the title still.
So whatever animal it is, but you just may, if you use the same line for 1 and 5, then you have to come up with a different title. But you get to keep line 1 and line 5 the same, and then you'll just have a different title up top. Okay? And if you look at the back, there are more examples of Cinquains. Just know a lot of these don't have the right amount of syllables, and you cannot do it about a puppy, a penguin, a puppy or a penguin. If you were already planning on doing, well, we can't all be doing the same animal. So I need to see who knows what animal they want to do. We can't all do the same animal. Raise your hand if you know what animal you want to do. I'm going to call in order. Let me